So hi everyone, greeting you from Rome, and uh, I have just arrived a few days ago from the Philippines, and I would like to take this opportunity during my quarantine probably to connect with all of you. And it's interesting that I have a few more days before I conclude my quarantine, and obviously for me it's an opportunity to uh, make minutes and hours on quarantine fruitful. But tomorrow is Sunday, and today on Saturday, I just thought of trying this feature on YouTube, which is live. So I would like to say that probably more than the recorded or pre-recorded meditations I've been doing in the past months, which I have stopped doing, it might be good to do something or to have something different, and it is through this live meditation that I would like to do today. So let me say that in the past Sundays after Easter, we have been actually speaking about, or we have been reading from the liturgy, especially from the liturgy of the Word, accounts of the resurrection of the Lord. And I believe this is something that we can reflect on. And this morning, while I was having my breakfast, I realized that if there's one thing that the risen Lord had for his disciples, it was a great deal of patience. He was very patient with his disciples. In fact, in the accounts from the Gospel of John and also the Gospel of Luke, which we are reading in these days, or during these days, we find the Lord quite patient with the doubts of his disciples, with all the questions that they had. But what is striking here is that the Lord remained patient with his disciples. So in other words, patience here means not so much to put up with somebody, but patience here means actually to be able to understand and accompany people from their situation, from their point of view. And that's what the Lord did with his disciples. He accompanied them. He was very patient in the sense that Jesus knew that it would take time for his disciples to understand the power of his resurrection. And I guess this is something that we can learn from in our life, which is, first of all, we have to be patient with ourselves. There are many times in our life when it's very difficult for us to understand what's going on, especially today when we are still in the world where we do not know when the pandemic will actually end. So patience with ourselves. That's a key to understanding also the Lord's resurrection in our life. Another thing that I think we learn from the risen Lord as he accompanied his disciples towards ascension, especially as they tried to grapple with the fact that even if the Lord died on the cross with his wounds, he is actually there with them. He is present. He is alive, not as a body that has been restored from death, but somebody who remains the same Jesus they have encountered in their life, but at the same time, who is very much present now in their journey, in their struggle. So I think the second lesson is quite also important, which is basically when we understand the resurrection, it is not just patience with our doubts, with our struggles, with what's going on in our life right now, but also patience with others. And I believe that's what the Lord was actually teaching also his community of disciples, that they have to be patient with one another. And that means each one has his own way of trying to understand the Lord, and one cannot have a uniform way of telling or of uh, making one understand who the Lord is or what the Lord is going through. So I think this is also very important when we come to the value of the resurrection in our life. We become more patient with others. And that's also the power of the resurrection. And I think lastly, when it comes to the power of the resurrection, we also understand that patience here also means that we allow the Lord to open our eyes to the many realities that we have not seen yet in our life. So it's really an adventure, a divine adventure to believe in the resurrection, because the Lord can surprise us, can give us many surprises in our life. And that's something that we know the Lord will always be there for us. And if we are aware, if we are vigilant enough, and if we try to be more conscious of His presence in many situations of life, then we will realize that, yes, there are many surprises that the Lord can offer us every day. Obviously, we are always, how to say that? We are always looking forward to big events, to big surprises in our life. But if you have the eye of the resurrection, the eye of Easter, the eye of the risen Lord, we realize that in little things, the Lord can surprise us. I can tell you many experiences, but the fact that, for example, this morning while I was taking my breakfast during this period of quarantine here in Rome, I realized that I was looking out the window to see that the trees and everything there. A fundamental insight, or a fundamental realization, I should say, came into my heart, and that was a surprise, no? Because as I was reflecting on my life, I realized that life is really short. If God is generous, I'll have maximum of 30 years more of life, but that's really short. But for me, that is a surprise, because that made me understood even more fully the value of living life fully in the present moment. So I think it's one thing that we really have to understand in our life's journey. Yeah, that patience would also mean allowing the Lord to surprise us, not to be preoccupied with many things, or to be worried about many things, or to be afraid of many things, but really to allow each day with its burdens, also with its surprises, to make us even more aware of the presence of the Lord, the risen Lord, and to believe that He is indeed alive. And that if there's one word that we can learn from the resurrection, it is obviously patience. We have to be patient with ourselves, patient with people we live with, and patient with the ways God, Jesus, works in our life with His surprises. So today, for our live meditation, just remember that one of the fruits of the resurrection is this patience. Patience with ourselves, patient with people we live with, and patience in allowing God to transform us with His divine surprises. So have a good day. I hope that you like this, and I will continue to do so in the coming days with a live meditation. Thank you, and God bless you.